Oh, hey there, neighbor. Mr. Whitehead here. Just reading my album liner notes. Why don't you come a little closer and I'll tell you more about it? A little closer. Maybe a little closer. Whoa, that's probably too close. A little further back. Great. So, this is a new segment on Everyday Audio where I'm going to do an album review once a week and point you to a few albums that are related. The album that I chose this week is Joni Mitchell and Charles Mingus's album called Mingus. This is a unique album because it is a collaboration between two great artists. And to be honest with you, it's an album that I hadn't listened to too much for a while because it was very odd sounding and it didn't sound like a Joni Mitchell album or a Charles Mingus album. But been listening to it a lot lately, and I think it is an amazing album for a lot of reasons. The first requirement for me for a great album is that it takes me to another place, and this is a place of its own. And this album definitely does that. It is really unique pairing Joni Mitchell's singing with Charles Mingus's music. Mingus writes all the music on this album except for two songs, and Joni is writing all the lyrics. She's also done all the artwork here, which is really cool and really impressive. And I also think that this album works for the times because you can really see it's Joni Mitchell's admiration of Mingus as a person, as a musician, as a thinker. It starts with a birthday party where people are singing "Happy Birthday" to Mingus. He's down in Mexico because he's fallen ill, and here the back picture you can see him in his wheelchair. And so this was in '75, and that's when the birthday party is. And they'll have recordings throughout the album interspersed from that birthday party. He did live until '79, but he was down ill in Mexico during that time. So great album art. When you're talking about especially jazz albums, you've got to talk about the lineup. Listen to this lineup: Joni Mitchell on guitars and vocals, Jaco Pastorius on bass. If you don't know about him, pretty much it's like the Jimi Hendrix of bass. Totally changed the instrument. Wayne Shorter on soprano sax, Herbie Hancock on electric piano. These are people, iconoclast people who just change the music they play forever. Peter Erskine on drums, Don Elias on congas, and Emil Richards on percussion. So amazing lineup, recorded at Electric Ladyland Studios, mixed by Joni Mitchell and also Steve Katz involved. So you have a great lineup, great paintings by Joni Mitchell, and the album deals with a lot of pretty heavy themes, a lot of Mingus's career, and here you have a collaboration between a black man and a white woman, and in this day and age, it's really refreshing to see Joni's admiration for Charles, and also to see them deal with themes like race here, and also dealing a lot with death and aging, as Charles has just fallen ill for the first time. And the first song here is "God Must Be a Boogeyman," and it's actually the only track that Charles never heard. But Joni says in the liner notes that she's sure he would have gotten a good laugh at the title and the lyrics, which I'm sure he would. So amazing album here. Definitely very challenging for jazz fans or for folk fans. But this is a great and unique album to listen to, and one that deals with themes, some heavy themes like death, like racism, like a person's past, but the music is just outstanding and entrancing. So on these short little segments, I also want to give you a few other albums that are related to go move forward to. This was the original album that I was going to pick, especially with the times. This is Mr. Hood by K.M.D. And I'm just gonna read the back of this because this was I got it in a record store in Chicago, and I think they had these really cool explanations on their barcode labels. Essential, 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 essential. Reissue of K.M.D's classic hip hop record that slipped through the cracks during the reign of gangster rap. Features Zev Love X, who you might know nowadays as the metal faced MF Doom. Just deal with it. You're walking up to the counter right now and buying this piece of hip hop history. So this is super cool album and super relevant. The whole concept is that Mr. Hood is a white man who's in the hood, and these three young black men are showing them around their neighborhood, and the interaction is really rich, really ahead of its time, and definitely poignant for the time right now. So, Mr. Hood by KMD. Also, of course, Madlib and MF Doom doing Madvillian. This album's going to be really challenging conceptually and lyrically, closer to the Mingus and the Mitchell. This album is going to be closer sonically and with the music. Very challenging, kind of jazzy approach to hip hop here. But the next place I would also go to, and a very poignant album for the times, is Good Kid, Mad City. Kendrick Lamar's earlier album goes through a day in his life in Compton and talks about the issues of being a young black man in America in Compton, and he covers everything. And this, every song is great. All of these albums create their own world. Even President Obama said his favorite song one year was on here, Money Trees, which is a great song. There's Poetic Justice. There's Bitch Don't Kill My Vibe. The interludes are hilarious with his mom, and he's stealing this minivan here. And it is just a great album to listen to in general and listen to right now. And also, in at this point in his career, Kendrick's doing a more jazz influenced thing with some live instruments, so connects in that way. So I hope you enjoyed this short album review session, and there'll be more to come. And I just want to remind you that you are special. No one listens like you do. Your ears are special, and that makes all of your listening important and special. Have a great week.